for a readback of some testimony and the judge's instructions.
Judge Merchan revealed that in order to convict former President Donald Trump, the jury doesn't even have to agree on the underlying crime that he's accused of. The jury has the pick of these three following options. They need to find that Trump unlawfully influenced the 2016 election by violating FECA, the Federal Election Campaign Act, the falsification of other business records, or a violation of tax laws.
Fox's Nate Foy in New York. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito says no to Senate Democrats asking him to step down from January 6 Capitol riot cases over flags flown at his homes linked to the pro-Trump Stop the Steal movement. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Live and local. Real talk starts now.
And right now is a So Happy It's Thursday. Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
Yeah, you got to be in here.
You just gotta love
it.
Kelly. She walks in and she's getting in her seat. I'm Kelly Knapp.
She's doing the stand-up routine at that
without
time.
a blip.
Got a blip? Who blipped?
I said without a blip.
Oh,
She
without
just
a
got
blip.
right in
Okay,
there.
got it. Anyway, it's day two. Started day two for the jury deliberation and the trial for Donald J. Trump. We'll be talking about that this morning, no doubt. And we have a special guest coming in this morning, too. District Attorney Ernie didn't have any idea that when we scheduled this, that it would be a Trump thing still happening out there for the jury trial. But I'm sure we'll talk to him a little bit about that. But he's not part of the New York system. He doesn't know what New York law is. He doesn't understand jury trials, of course.
Right.
So that's one of the things we'll talk to him about. But the biggest thing is the number of murder cases in this district, in his four county district, the number of people awaiting trial for murder.
Mm-hmm.
It's like never ending. Holy moly! I don't know how they do it. I don't know whether this still is part of it is backed up to because of that year that the courts took off during the pandemic or not. But just as soon as they finish with one, they have two more murders.
True.
So it's just kind of a never-ending situation. Maybe this should be a night court.
No.
Why?
No.
Why?
I agree. I think it would move things along.
Yeah. Well, a murder trial. Well, we'll talk about it. He'll
Well, I
explain
know. I have
what
the
all stuff
answer.
is out there.
Let's just do it by Zoom.
Well, speaking of which, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Let's just do a Zoom.
Yeah, they're in Michigan. You know where
Mhm.
Michigan is, right?
Yes, we do.
Up there
They're
where
by
it's
the Great
very
Lakes.
cold during the wintertime and pretty cold during most of the summertime. What do they got? 48 hours of summer up there in Traverse City area.
Yeah, I know, right?
So what? We used to have one of the TV stations in Traverse City was in the corporate group that I was in. So it was like, really? No, They wanted to have our meeting there one year, our corporate meeting for news directors, and we all said, we own a station in Honolulu. Why do we want to go to Traverse City?
Right. I agree.
So we always went somewhere in the South where we own most of the stations. But anyway, up there in Michigan, they can zoom in for minor offenses, traffic offenses and whatever.
Okay.
So this guy, he did. He zoomed in one morning.
Okay.
He was calling in because he has a trial pending for a suspended driver's license.
Okay.
So he dialed into the virtual court he said,
He's like, wait a minute, let me pull over.
wait a minute, I gotta park my car.
Oh my. Oh my.
I'm pulling into my doctor's driveway. Are you driving your car, sir? Well, no, I'm pulling it into the parking lot right now. Hold on just a minute. What? The judge is like absolutely beside herself. The poor lawyer.
I would have just been done with that case. So you have to have a new lawyer.
Yeah. I agree with
The
that.
judge impatiently waiting for Harris to bring his vehicle to a stop. Once the proceeding began, Harris' attorney asked Simpson for an adjournment. The attorney asked the judge for an adjournment to possibly up to 4 weeks if the court would allow, he said. Okay, the judge says, so maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended case. Is that right? And he was just driving and he doesn't have a license?
Yeah.
The attorney looked kind of like, yeah, okay. I don't understand. Yes, I don't know. I don't even know why he would do that, the judge said. So the defendant's bond is revoked.
Yay.
In this matter, he ordered the defendant, Harris, to turn himself into the county jail by 6 o'clock that day.
What was the guy thinking?
The guy
Clearly
Harris,
wasn't.
Harris said, oh my God. His attorney then said she would be calling him pretty soon.
That attorney was just, the judge is going like, isn't your client up for driving, with a suspended? Yes, sir. And is he not driving right now?
This one
Yes,
takes
sir.
the cake. This is better than any of the school videos and during the shutdowns of the school system. I think this has got to be one for the
I
books.
mean, this is something. This poor guy.
I would have told him,
Yeah.
you find another
Just-
attorney.
No, just plead guilty and get on with the program. And
Yeah.
just while you're there in jail without benefit of bond, just stay there. Okay.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
You're going to be there for a little while. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Gosh.
Wonder if he can zoom it from the jail.
Yeah, well.
Some cases they
Some
can.
cases you
Yeah.
can, yes.
So, electronic appearances.
Yeah.
Ah, my. What a mess.
Well, we've been talking about that accident that happened in Gardner where the parents were killed and then the child was just declared brain dead. And the person that hit them had a long, lengthy record of accidents and traffic
Wrecks.
charges. Yes, wrecks and traffic charges. And a lot of those charges had been dismissed previously.
Really?
Yes. Yes. That right there,
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot brewing out there, and I guess we probably can jump into this mess this morning. It's the 800-pound gorilla is in the room. He's put on a lot of weight overnight, by the way. He's probably weighing closer to 2,000 pounds, a full ton this morning. That's what I'm thinking. What do you think?
Yeah.
The jury deliberated until it recessed yesterday afternoon. They will continue this morning when court resumes at 9:30. I don't like the phrase kangaroo court, never have. I think it demeans our court system. And I don't think that's what's happening in New York in the case against Donald Trump. It's not a court problem. It's not the court's problem. It's not the judicial problem. I do, however, think that it has become disgustingly more apparent with every passing day, ending up with Judge Meehan charging the jury yesterday. And this is what I never feared it would be, a political prosecution.
Told you.
I feared it was going to come down to this. Never thought that it would. Never wanted to admit it. But after spending the last several days now, way more time in front of the TV than I have in quite some time watching this stuff. And of course, unfortunately, he stupidly did not allow cameras in the courtroom so that we could see firsthand and maybe we could judge it differently what was happening. Because all we can do now is depend upon the quotes that reporters in the courtroom are sending in to the anchors at the desk. Now, that's all well and good, but it doesn't set the stage. It doesn't tell us, it doesn't tell anybody else how things are actually unveiling there. What's the attitude in the courtroom?
Okay.
In North Carolina, there's something called malicious prosecution.
Oh, this is beyond malicious prosecution.
Normally, that's a charge reserved for individuals who concoct unfounded claims against another individual or even a business with accusations that are not based on facts, resulting in criminal charges. Individuals that do that can be held accountable in North Carolina. I don't know how things work in New York. I never have been able to understand. When those making such claims take the witness stand and spout lies, guess what happens next? It's called perjury.
Yeah.
You can go to jail for perjury.
Hmm.
In this case, with the prosecution team led by Alvin Bragg, seemingly assisted by what our equivalent of a Superior Court judge is, legal observers, a growing number of normal people, even people who don't even Trump, putting on a show that makes many of us sit by and say, well, you can figure out what I'm thinking. I'm one of those guys that has issues with Donald Trump and his style as a person, okay? I'm also one of those guys, like many of you, who keep asking, where's the beef? I've heard and read the charges against Trump. Is he an angel? No. But I'm beginning to believe he's more of a saint than what I'm seeing in the legal system. Take that back. The application of the system in this particular trial, centered around one person primarily, the judge. It's been discussed on every network. Even the anti-Trump folks are having issues with this trial. Like him or not, that's not the question. I don't like a lot of people currently and in the past. But in legal cases, they at least deserve a fair trial with a totally impartial judge on the bench. I don't think that's what we have here. Do you? Does anybody think this is a fair and impartial trial? I've said during most of this trial that I did not follow it blow by blow. I feel sorry for those who did. I spent more time during the closing remarks and Meehan's instructions to the jury. If nothing else is more apparent, a trial of this magnitude should not just allow, but mandate that live cameras are in the courtroom, including the time when this out-of-control judge kicked everyone out of the courtroom so he could go nuts on a defense witness. I preface all of this, as usual, with the absolute fact that this is my absolute opinion, and I absolutely defend my right to have that opinion. I'll accept your opinion as your own, as long as you don't go into la-la land that has nothing to do with this case, which is what is happening in New York right now. I will issue a challenge if you do that. I seriously doubt, and forget about, well, that's what Biden did, or that's what so-and-so did. No, that's not the point. Donald Trump is on trial for his deeds or misdeeds. That's all that he's on trial for. We thought, until yesterday during the closing arguments from the prosecution, when suddenly the prosecutor said, well, you know what, this is not just about these misdemeanors here, 34 of them. They're the underlying factors out there, the underlying charges pending. Election interference. Huh? You're not on trial for election interference. But by the judge's determination, apparently in cahoots with the prosecutor, they are now allowing that. And guess what? The jury is to consider that, but they don't have to vote unanimously as to whether those underlying charges should be considered as part of the guilt or innocence verdict in the cases against him.
But
You try to explain that to me.
this goes against our Constitution. Verdicts are supposed to be unanimous.
He's not been charged with those underlying case.
Well, then how can you find somebody guilty of something they haven't been charged
They're
with?
not looking for guilt or innocence. They want to use it to consider whether he's guilty of the other charges.
But you can't.
They can, because the judge said they can. He instructed them to do that.
Well, this is the same judge who disallowed the FEC Commission
Yes.
chairman's
Yeah.
testimony, which would have stopped this whole thing in
Cleared
its
up a bunch of
tracks.
stuff.
That's what I keep saying. If you don't think this is political in nature, and this judge is so corrupt, I mean, this guy absolutely needs to be removed from the bench. That
And
testimony of this guy would have stopped all of this and refused to allow, because then Donald Trump wasn't able to put on a defense properly because of that.
I don't understand why the New York Department of Justice, they have their own, why they do not move in and say, we're taking you off the bench. This trial is now null
Because
and
they
void.
think like he does. That's why.
Oh my.
You're putting too much faith in these people, Rayford. That's what I've been trying to say
I
to
do
you.
not think there could be more than one person like this judge in New York.
Oh, I think you're wrong about that.
Well, I can tell you now that Representative Elise Stefanik of New York has already filed an ethic complaint against that judge.
I
And there'll
hope
be
so.
more
I
to
saw that.
follow.
Yeah,
There'll be
that's-
more to
That's
follow.
that's on a federal level.
Right. Well, I guarantee you that when this is over with, mark my words, Jim Jordan's going to have a committee to investigate the ethics of this
Jimmy's
judge.
going to go unglued.
But the problem with
yes.
that is it's not going to help in this situation.
Nope.
I mean, this, and the worst part, if I were a citizen of New York, I don't care what level of citizen we're talking about here, this would disturb me greatly because they could go after some just regular Joe Blow citizen and treat them in the same manner where they're not getting a fair trial, they're stacking the odds, they're bending rules,
Do
they're
we know
making
that
up
it hasn't
rules.
happened?
Oh, I agree. I guarantee you. This, and I personally would look at every case this judge has sat on previously.
They're looking
Oh,
at
they
now.
will do that.
Yeah, because
Once it's filed.
whether you like Donald Trump or not, and y'all know I think he's
Well,
wacky and weird.
I think
This is wrong.
number 2 in the judge's instructions is a joke. You must set aside your personal differences.
Because he didn't.
I'm
That's right.
like, well, maybe you need to eat those words.
Yes, this guy is awful.
All right, let's take a break. Bottom of the hour here, or very shortly after weather. Anyway, we're going to be chatting with a great legal mind in this area that I know of, and so I know him and I respect him. So we'll pump him this morning for sure. Today's severe weather tip is brought to you by John Stars Electric, your choice for a standby Generac generator. We didn't have any thunderstorms yesterday, yay, around here anyway. I'm not sure if they didn't see any anywhere in the state. Yes, my dear, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is now upon us. Well, it will be on Saturday. As much as we'd like to ignore it, this year is a special year. NOAA echoes other forecasters for this year. It's likely going to produce a bumper crop of tropical systems, including ready 17 to 25 named storms. That includes tropical storms and hurricanes, where 14 is the average normal. Of those, 8 to 13 are predicted to become hurricanes. 7 hurricanes in any given year is the average. Of the hurricanes, forecasters fear 4 to 7 will become major hurricanes, categories 3, 4, or 5. Of course, even if it's the worst case scenario, not all of the storms will impact the United States. As it was last year, there's always the possibility that storms will turn away from the coastal U.S. and eventually die away somewhere in the Atlantic. We must understand there is always a possibility of either a near miss, still producing severe weather conditions, or, heaven forbid, a direct hit in our region. For those of us who have been around these parts and lived for a long time here, the smart ones never take it for granted. I was around as a kid, oh boy, when the then storm of the century created havoc along the North Carolina coast. 1954 brought Hurricane Hazel, a name that has been retired. It's best to get ready for the action this season. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. If we are as ready as we can, then anything less worse is good, right? A website I can't emphasize enough is readync.gov. Bookmark it, encourage everyone in your household to look at it. The more information we have, the better prepared we will be. One major point I want to make. If at any time, if a storm is approaching our area, that local officials issue an evacuation order, please take that warning seriously. As part of your plan of action, you should have a list of items on your list that you should pack and be ready to leave your home with, including personal papers. You should also have a list of the shelters that will be open, including their addresses, and understand what you will be able to take into the shelters. You might also want to take a look at surrounding areas, perhaps within 100 miles from here. Check what motels are available, which ones are pet friendly if you have a dog or a kitty cat, if that applies. If you plan to stay at home, if conditions permit, understand that you may not have access to the supermarket, gas stations, or other things you take for granted. You may not have electricity, and you might not be able to cook whatever you have on hand. To make your life easier during and after the storm, when the lights go out, this would be with John Stars Electric, your Generac generator dealer in the region. The team will design a system to fit your needs, basic to something more sophisticated. Give them a call, 910-989-1908. You'll be happy to power up your life with a John Stars Electric Generac generator. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes with your complete weather outlook. And don't go too far from your radio.
On the next Goddard's Gold, we're counting down the class of 1968. What great music. Born to be Wild, Young Girl, Love Child, Judy in Disguise, This Guy's in Love with You, Hello, I Love You, Honey, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Hey Jude, Mrs. Robinson, music, interviews, and stories galore. Class of 68, next Gold. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Freedom 97.1 and at 11:20 a.m. WSME.
Liberty Mutual presents How to Get Ahead at Work.
It's simple. Just ask for a meeting with your supervisor. While you're discussing the latest sales reports, just slip into the conversation that you customized your home insurance with Liberty Mutual and saved hundreds. Whoa! The business savvy you showed saving hundreds of dollars on home insurance will have you running seminars on saving money in no time.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com. Based on recent survey of new customers who switched and saved. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. They're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
A plan every adult family member should consider is the pre-arranged funeral. It's the worry-saving thing to do for your family. Making pre-arrangements helps to alleviate the additional stress on family members that can come with arranging a loved one's funeral. Jones Funeral Home's prepaid funeral plan helps remove confusion. They make a practical evaluation of costs possible, and it's the best way to take an unpleasant task off the shoulders of the family. Call Jones Funeral Home at 455-1281.
With locations in Jacksonville, Richland, Swansboro, and Holly Ridge.
Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, Roofing specializes in residential and commercial interior and exterior painting. In fact, they paint most anything except cars, including homes, businesses, apartment complexes, decks, and they do minor repairs, wood repairs, pressure washing, waterproofing, and more, including storm repair and cleanup. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing, fully licensed, insured, and locally owned and operated by Roger Carroll Jr. References available and customer satisfaction is always guaranteed. So if you want it painted, maintained, power washed, or need a new roof, call Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, and Power Washing at 910-939-0749 or visit southerntouchpaintingnc.com. Southern Touch Painting, Maintenance, Power Washing, and Roofing salutes our troops and is proud to be part of the continued growth of Onslow and surrounding counties.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
Looking for a job? Full-time? Part-time? Il Cigno Italiano Restaurant wants you. We're currently hiring for hostesses, servers, bartenders, and dishwashers. Il Cigno Italiano is a family-owned, fast-paced restaurant that offers the best in fine dining on the Crystal Coast. If you're hardworking, reliable, professional, and have a desire to always strive for better, we want to talk to you. Make great money and be a part of an outstanding, dedicated team. Il Cigno Italiano on West Corbett Avenue in Swansboro.
It's live and local. Real Talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Marine forecast brought to you by Community Prevention Services. These forecasts are really important to people like me, like to do boat and like to go fishing. Anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide. If you're having episodes more and more often, this is probably a good time to reach out for some help. Holidays, the stress of planning for a vacation, the stress of trying to make your kids have something safe to keep them busy during the summer when they're not in school, all can add up to stressful situations. Along with the worries, there's that nagging issue of money. Do I have enough money to get through the season? Oh my God, how about the summer vacation? Do we have enough money? With inflated prices for food, with expensive gas, a summer vacation on the back burner now, perfect opportunities for depression to take hold. You're lucky around here. Community Prevention Services in Jacksonville has a staff of counselors that can help with many of the issues that face many of us today. There's no reason to continue suffering. Help is a phone call away. Their number is 910-353-0972. They're down at on Henderson Drive, 918 Henderson, easily found. Totally confidential information, and they accept most insurance plans. Offshore today, good days on the ocean await us. Northerly winds around 10 knots, becoming easterly this afternoon. Seas about 2 feet. That's nothing. 2 foot waves from the southeast, 9 seconds apart. Sounds and rivers a light chop tomorrow. Northeasterly winds 5 to 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Northeasterly winds again on Saturday, about 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop once again.
Today, sunny, high of 82. Tonight, clear, low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 80. Tomorrow night, clear, low of 53. Saturday, sunny, high of 82. Saturday night for baseball night here, clear, low of 57. And on Sunday, sunny, high of 85.
Yeah, those Ospreys are out there, they're practicing, they're getting ready. And they've got a good start to the season so far.
Yes, 10 to 5.
They're excited.
We'll wait to see how this one turns out on Saturday. I don't, who are they playing Saturday? We don't care. Whoever it is, we're going to whoop them, right?
I know who it is. You asked me, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay. Got a guest in the studio with us.
Yes, we do.
Fresh from California. Oh, you didn't lose any of your conservativeness out there, did
Oh,
you?
no, absolutely not. I'm still conservative, but it was good being in California. Had a good conference, too.
Oh, good. Ernie Lee, District Attorney for Fifth Prosecutorial District. I never get those two right. You got 4 counties in your district: Onslow, Duplin, Sampson, and Jones.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You've got a whole bunch of murder cases out there.
I've got
in those 4 counties.
I've got 47 people charged with first-degree murder right now. It's a little higher than normal. It makes me, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work to do. But we just had a rash of those, particularly over in Duplin and Sampson.
Okay, now in prepping for a murder case, especially first degree, there's a lot of difference there between that and speeding and whatever. How much time does it take the district attorney? How much is involved in the whoever the ADA or the DA, whether it's yourself, you oversee all of them either way.
I oversee all of them.
But whoever handles them directly, and the staff that's involved, how many man hours would you say goes into it before the first day of court?
Oh, I would say hundreds. And I don't exaggerate that because I will be there early in the morning until late at night working on one.
Mm-hmm.
I've got one I'm actually working on now. And it's just an incredible amount of hours put into these. Now it's spread out over, months.
Sure.
And, but because the rest of the offices still got to function too, I have to stop and work on a lot of other things. It takes a lot of time preparing. This meeting with witnesses takes a long time. Going through all the evidence, deciding what you want to put into evidence, physical evidence, and what you don't want to put into evidence, and then reading the law. And it's just a lot. And then once you even get the case, you've got to decide, how do I present this case? In what order do I present these witnesses? Because you got to make it sure that the jury can understand the story, but you also want to keep it interesting to the jury and make sure that they stay engaged. So it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Now, I've done quite a few by myself, but usually now I'll have someone with me. And it's always good to bounce some things off. I don't care how long you've been doing this. There's always be something you need to talk about.
Yeah, one of those little things that slipped through, you may not have paid any attention to it. You read it and it said, well, it didn't make a lot of it. Didn't get my attention.
That happens quite often. That happens quite often. And particularly now, trials have changed through the years since I started back in '87. Now we've got to deal with phone records, a lot of computer records, Facebook records. Those are things I did not have when I started with the DA's office. And I will usually get an assistant DA to assist me on those. As a matter of fact, Mike Moss was my chief ADA. We've been together 32 years. Mike will usually do the phone records. I said, I'll do pretty much everything else in the trial if you'll just handle the cell phone records, because those are confusing. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of preparation to get them ready to present before a jury. And I need someone who can actually spend a lot of time on that. Mike always does a great job on the phone records.
Just getting the records though, because the records
that's a
are, the
pain.
phone calls are to a certain extent private.
Absolutely, because we've got to get our search warrants and get up with these phone companies, Verizon or AT&T, whoever it may be. And then it's not just say, okay, we want these. Then you got to find the right person to get those records in through, because they're business record exceptions or whatever. And we've got to get the right person. That usually takes quite a bit of time trying to find the right person. It may be someone around here, more than likely it's not. I think the last one we called was from Tennessee. Before that was like California. So you had to find someone who can come in and testify to those. We usually fly them in, and it's a lot of preparation on that, a lot of preparation. And then we'll usually get either the FBI or the SBI to help us then try to basically show what the significance of these phone records are, like tracking someone. Whenever you turn your phone on, you can be tracked.
Yep.
And because we go by the towers. And we'll have to get someone from the SBI or FBI to come in and testify, and they will basically do like a chart for us, a diagram for us showing where this person was at particular times. Now, we can't prove maybe that person was the one actually talking on the phone, but at least we can prove where that phone was. And we'll use that a lot.
Sure. Now, sometimes how difficult can you get them, even if I go through here and I delete all of my text messages and all of my incoming phone calls? They're still out there.
They're still out there. Yeah, they're still
Don't
out
go
there.
away.
Bad guys don't even bother to worry with that. Once you do it, you've done it.
Yeah, and same thing with like people try to delete something they put on Facebook.
Good
Facebook
luck
or whatever. We're gonna find it. And it's amazing the number of defendants out there that brag about what they have done or going to do. And we'll get those records, and of course we can use those against them in court. But that's an amazing number of people that will do that.
Now, of these 47, did you say
47,
murder,
yes, sir.
first degree cases, first degree murder, first degree right now, you go through, you examine them, the couple of things you got to look for too, right? Whether, number one, whether it meets the requirements of a murder in the first charge. And two is whether you can prove it to a reasonable jury.
Yeah, we got to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's one of the issues we get sometimes hung up on is, can we actually prove this case? I'm working on several cases right now. I got some issues. And so I'm actually have to decide whether or not, first of all, it's first degree murder. Do we have premeditation, deliberation, or some other theory of first degree murder? Then if not, do we have second degree? And of course, with 47 of those, there's always the option of plea bargaining. I think it's like 97% of the cases in the state plea bargain because there's just so many cases pending. We have over 6,000 cases pending in my district alone. And so we've got to, you obviously can't try everything. So we decide what to work out and what not to work out. And that's a difficult decision. I mean, I'll just tell you, I was in Sampson County yesterday, meeting with a family in a murder case. And I've got to make some very, very tough decisions about that case. There's some issues that have come up. And I met with the family yesterday. They may be the most receptive what I had to say, but I'm going to meet with them soon again because I'm going to let them, think about what I told them. And then go back and meet with them again, make some decisions on how to proceed with this case.
Now,
that's tough, though. I had a large family yesterday. That was difficult.
Years and years ago, a few decades ago, back in the day, I told people that of all of the homicides, not suicides, homicides that I was involved in, you could probably count on my 10 fingers and thumbs here the number of totally innocent victims.
Excellent.
Am I close to that?
Excellent point. Not everyone comes in with clean hands. I have never had a case. I hope I never do, but I've never had a case where a nun or a pastor or someone like that was a big. Hope I never do. It's usually going to be someone that has associated with the defendant, has had some contact with the defendant in the past, and therefore many times is sort of like the defendant. And I've seen that quite often.
Might be in business with the defendant.
Might be in business with the defendant. I've had a lot. I've had some barroom killings, and obviously that comes into play. Your victim was there too. I've had drug killings. Well, why was the victim even there? Because why? They were engaged in some type of drug transaction, and they ended up getting robbed and killed. So therefore, not everyone is going to have clean hands. That's one of those things you got to look at. Of course, I tried that James Moore case back in February 2022. My victim was a prostitute. And that came out in evidence. She certainly didn't have clean hands, but she did not deserve to die.
That's right.
She did not deserve that. That's one of the things I always emphasize with the jurors. No matter what you come in with, no matter what your past is, you did not deserve to be killed by that person that day.
That's right.
And that no one gave that person the right to take your life. And that's one of the things I had to emphasize in that case and other cases. You're still a victim. And one of the things I look at too, like in that case, is this victim had a mother, she had a grandmother. And despite what the victim may have been doing in her life, they still loved her.
Of course.
And I've noticed that through the years. Another thing I've noticed through the years, and even this family I dealt with yesterday, it makes no difference what your background is. It makes no difference what your race is, gender, socioeconomic situation, whatever, where you're from. When you lose a loved one like that in a homicide, all the tears are exactly the same.
Yep.
And I have dealt with so many families through the years, and I've had 147 murder cases I've handled. That means there's 147 families out there, and every one of them cry the same.
Good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whew.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a tough
Just gave me
topic there.
goosebumps.
47 you got out there. Couple 3 coming up. You can't talk about them specifically.
Right.
Are you, any of them are death penalty cases?
Yes, sir. I've got one over in Swansboro. It's been declared capital. One over in Sampson, I was just talking about, is declared capital. And I've got another one I'm looking at here in Onslow County. Just waiting for an autopsy report to make my decision. I'm not getting an autopsy report. So I'm waiting for that. That one may very well be capital as well. And what I look at on those, first of all, in North Carolina, the time you can have a capital case, it must be first-degree murder. That is it. It used to be where you could have the death penalty for first-degree rape, first-degree burglary, first-degree arson, robbery of a dangerous weapon, kidnapping, burglary. But no longer. The only time that you can seek the death penalty in the state of North Carolina is for first-degree murder. So first of all, I got to decide whether or not it's a first-degree murder. If it's not a first-degree murder, you can't have a capital case. Then I got to decide whether or not there's an aggravating circumstance. An aggravating circumstance that they're listed by statute. There's only 11 of them listed. I can't go outside those 11. And that could be something, for example, like a murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel. I mean, all murders can be heinous, atrocious, or cruel. It's got to be especially so. Or if it's done for pecuniary or for financial gain, like you kill someone for insurance proceeds or for some type of robbery in order to gain
Murder
something
for
of
hire.
value. It doesn't have to be money. It could be anything of value. Or if you kill a law enforcement officer in the line of duty, that would be another capital, an aggravating circumstance you can look at. So there's 11 I can look at. I've got to decide whether or not I have one. Then can I prove beyond a reasonable doubt? And then ultimately, when I go through these cases, I ultimately just ask myself at the very end, after I've gone through all those steps, what the interest of justice is.
I remember a case in New Hanover, and folks did not understand. I was not in law enforcement at the time, but folks did not understand why the DA did not go after capital murder in the case. Person was shot and killed, and then was brutalized. The body was brutalized. Sorry, this doesn't meet the standards.
Yeah,
he did not suffer. He was not tortured. He was shot and killed.
That is an excellent point, Rayford, because many times, and I've had these cases too, that if you can actually prove someone was killed quickly, even though the person may have continued to do certain acts to their body, inflicting other wounds to their body, but the fact is, at that point, it can't be especially heinous or cruel necessarily because that person is no longer feeling the pain or suffering.
If you start at the kneecap and start working your way up, shooting them,
yes,
that's going to be cruel and unusual, and it's going to be first degree.
Yeah, and I've had some like that. I had one who's on death row right now where they got a boy from the Jacksonville Mall. I think he was 21 at the time. He worked at the mall there, and 2 guys robbed him and then subsequently took him to Duplin County to Goshen Swamp near Wayne County, tied him to a tree, took his clothes off, tied him to a tree, put a tennis ball in his mouth, taped up his face, and then one of them stabbed him like 40 some times. And so this person knew what was going to happen because they were arguing over who was going to kill him. So he knew what was going to happen. There was nothing he could do about it. And the jury came back death on one of those individuals, the one who actually stabbed him, did not come back with death. And the other he got life without parole. But those are pretty horrific. Those are pretty horrific.
They can be horrific. What's the worst case, most horrific case you've tried?
Wow, the one I just said was pretty bad. I guess the worst one I've ever tried was just absolutely more senseless. But I had a guy in Sampson County in a place called Plainview, which is outside of Dunn, other northern Sampson County. A guy killed his family. He woke up one night, went down the hallway, and butchered his mother, stabbed her to death in her bed. His 9-year-old half brother come down the hallway. He then murdered him next to the dryer washer there, and stabbed him to death, then went down and sexually assaulted his half-sister and then strangled her with her pantyhose.
Good Lord.
Just absolutely horrific. He then went in, took a shower, Oddly enough, he took a little portable TV with him, went out into the woods. There's nowhere to plug it in, so I don't know what the story on that was. He was seen walking down the wood out on the highway by a trooper. Everybody was looking for him because we don't know if he's a victim, witness, what. Right. And they go looking. We are looking for him, and they find him. He's walking down the highway. The SBI and the sheriff's office in Sampson get contacted. They go and interview him. He confesses, but this is what's so scary. They ask him, "Why'd you do it?" He says, "I don't know." There were numerous psychologists, psychiatrists who examined him for the defense. I tried him capitally for triple murder. The jury convicted him of everything, but the death penalty phase, they did come back with life without parole on all 3 counts. But that guy did have some mental things going on, as testified by his experts. But pretty horrific case because it was just arbitrary, just senseless. He worked with his mom. I mean, they had some business where they restored houses or something. And
remember Jeffrey McDonald?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The case there, of course, he was charged with murder. He killed his wife, killed his kids. He was found, second degree on his wife, I think it was. Because that was a spur of the moment thing. They got in an argument in the kitchen, I think it was, and he killed her right then and there. People said, why second degree? Because it was not premeditated. It was spur of the moment, but he went down the hallway and he killed his kids.
That's right.
First degree.
Yeah, that's it. Premeditation, deliberation in the state of North Carolina it can be time no matter how short, as long as you are able to form the specific intent to kill, which could mean just the amount of time it takes to take a gun out of your belt and pull the trigger, because that is a very short amount of time. But I mean, that's obviously for the jury to decide. But still, I mean, it's a very short amount of time as long as you can form that specific intent.
Yeah, or you go to your car and you get the gun after an argument. Yes. One and done.
That happens quite often. Some of our gang and drug killings where they will go back and get a gun and return to the scene and then kill someone.
You comfortable in talking about without too many specifics? Did you pay any attention to this gorilla in the courtroom case up there in New York?
I have a little bit. We'll
talk to you about generalities. How's that? You're live in local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME.
Hey, this is Chris Raynor tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Sports Talk. Our guest will be Coach Bobby Guthrie. Coach Guthrie was a 2-time Atlantic Coast Conference infielder with the Carolina Tar Heels back in the mid-'70s and coached the UNCW Seahawks in the 80s and 90s as their baseball coach. Also as the athletic director for Wake County. We will have him talking about all kinds of sports, especially the College Baseball World Series. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Sports Talk, WSME.
Chico's Tires, 2320 Wilmington Highway is Jacksonville's oldest tire company, and now Jacksonville's newest tire company is Little Chico's, located at 1675 North Marine Boulevard. Little Chico's carries all the major brands and all sizes, such as Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, and many others, and all new tires have warranty. In addition to a great selection of new tires, Little Chico's has used tires starting at only $30. In addition to new and used tires, Little Chico's does brake service, minor auto and truck repair, and towing. So if you need tires, new or used, brake service, minor auto or truck repair, or if you need a tow, visit Jacksonville's newest tire store, Little Chico's, 1675 North Marine Boulevard. By phone, 910-333-0473 for Little Chico's Tire Service, located at 1675 North Marine Boulevard, right here in Jacksonville. Flatwoods Outfitters, veteran-owned and operated, located at 111 Second Amendment Lane, just off Highway 24 between Swansboro and Jacksonville and Hubert, reminds you to remember those that didn't forget us and paid the ultimate price for our freedom this Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th. Flatwoods Outfitters is the most complete sporting and firearm facility in Onslow County, right here in your backyard, complete with a shooting range and instruction. Flatwoods Outfitters carries all major brand names of shotguns, long guns, pistols, and ammunition to bag your limit for whatever game is in season, from dove to bear. Flatwoods Outfitters also takes pride in helping you protect your Second Amendment rights and urges you to learn how to safely handle any firearm for personal safety. At Flatwoods, you can sight in your scope and use your shooting or archery range. If you're interested in a concealed weapon permit, Flatwoods Outfitters can help with that also. So, whether you are a sportsman or concerned about personal safety, let the friendly and knowledgeable staff at Flatwoods Outfitters assist you. For range hours, phone 910-353-7593. That's 910-353-7593 for range hours. Flatwoods Outfitters, 111 Second Amendment Lane, Hubert. where they aim to preserve our hunting and heritage, wildlife, and Constitution. Flatwoods Outfitters again reminds you to remember those that didn't forget us and paid the ultimate price for our freedom this Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th. When it comes to paint and paint supplies, whether a contractor or homeowner, since 1957, people have depended on Jacksonville's premier paint store, CNS Paint, for all their paint, painting supplies, and accessories, as well as providing expert knowledge in helping with a particular paint project. CNS Paint, with locations in Jacksonville at 6 Doris Avenue, 504 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, and 105 Wayne Drive, Orange City. CNS Paint is close and convenient to cover the Crystal Coast with quality PPG paint for any project, residential or commercial. Color is often the first impression of a home or community. PPG's team of designers, experienced in both new home construction and residential repaint, have compiled over 2,000 color schemes to provide you with a selection that appeals to homeowners. A beautiful and lasting paint job starts with quality PPG paint. For more information, phone 910-455-0210 or visit CNS Paint, 6 Doris Avenue, Jacksonville, 504 Cedar Point Boulevard, Cedar Point, or 105 Wayne Drive in Morris City, or online, cspaintcenter.com. CNS Paint, Jacksonville's premier paint store since 1957.
Attention property owners, are you fed up with bad tenants, under market rents, and late payments? At Fountain Management, we provide unrivaled levels of expertise and all the tools and services you need to make owning a rental property easy and profitable. Are you ready to talk about taking the management of your real estate investment to the next level? Well, contact us today. Fountain Management, 910-455-1609. We will make owning your rental property simple and rewarding.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Okay, we're back. Live. Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. District Attorney Ernie Lee's in the house with us. And it's not your case. Lots of laws in New York and lots of prosecutions in New York are a whole lot more different than they are around this neck of the woods. But this trial there, I'm at a loss to explain some of the stuff, some of the courtroom dealings. First of all, I really wish they had cameras in this courtroom. I think it would have prevented a lot of shenanigans on all sides. But the judge chose not to do it.
Yeah.
And
it's usually the same in North Carolina too. Most of the time, they're not going to allow court cameras in for trials,
but
sometimes, not always.
Yeah. With in this case with Donald Trump, the showman himself. So that's an issue in itself. Whether you like him or don't like him or whatever, it does not matter. This is a courtroom. He's tried with some 34 criminal offenses, and the judge. Everybody that I keep seeing and people that don't even like Trump saying the judge seems to be very partisan in this case. I don't know because I'm not in the courtroom. All I can do is read what other people are saying occurred in the courtroom. It makes it really difficult to form an opinion. But I found yesterday one in the closing arguments. He's got 34 charges against him, specific charges. And then suddenly the prosecutor comes up with an underlying charge that he's not charged with, an underlying crime that he's not charged with that you can consider in deliberating whether he's guilty or innocent, guilty or not guilty, no such thing as innocent, guilty or not guilty of the charges that he's charged with. Is that unusual?
Well, first of all, it's New York law, and I'm not familiar with New York law. I think it's a little bit unusual to the extent that you're supposed to give notice of the offenses that you've been charged with. Not necessarily all the theories now,
right?
Yep. But certainly with the offenses. But again, I'm not familiar with New York law. I don't know how that really works there.
Just weird.
It's a little bit because, again, you've got to be able to defend. And I know that's been one of the arguments the defense has been making. We don't know which ones are using as underlying offenses that you conspired to do or whatever was the basis for this one. And so I understand what their argument is. As to the judge, I don't know him. I've never met him, of course, never will. But, he's had a difficult case to try, under these circumstances. I kind of wish there were cameras in the courtroom. That way you could see, get a better idea of what's going on instead of just a recitation of what or summary of what's happened. Although I think the transcripts have been released. They release those daily.
A little bit, yeah.
But that's still not the same of actually seeing someone testify. You know, it's an interesting case. I've been following it, and I listen to it on the radio and stuff, you know, the coverage of it at least when I'm traveling to these different counties. So I have been following it. I mean, it's going to be an interesting decision on this. The jury's got to the case. They went out yesterday and I don't know how long the jury will deliberate. I know they've been asking some questions. I've been listening to that commentary this morning, actually, when I was coming here. You know, what the meaning of that is. All these experts were trying to say, well, if they've asked this, it means this. Look, I've done this for a long time. You cannot go by what questions the jurors are asking.
No.
That is not, because they may be looking at something completely different than what you think. You may think it's favorable to you because of the question. It may be unfavorable. And I've seen that.
And you can't.
So I'm not going to put too much in what the questions are.
Every time I've been at a jury trial and when the jury goes out, the people back there, both sides are saying, well, if they don't stay very long, if they come back pretty quickly, it favors us. And both of them will say the same thing. And then they both will say at some point, well, if they've been there a long time, okay, that's good for us.
Yeah, you just.
Who are they fooling? Themselves?
You can't say, because I mean, I've had juries come back very quickly. I thought, wow, maybe they didn't think I proved my case. They came back guilty.
Wow.
And then I've had some stay out and asking questions you thought were very favorable to the state or the prosecution, and then come back not guilty. I mean, looking at evidence that was very favorable for the state and then still say not guilty. So I've had it both ways. I know one of the guys I try a lot of murder cases with, and he's always so nervous during jury deliberations. Frankly, I'm not, because at that point I'm done.
Yeah,
there's nothing else I can do. It's out of my hands.
Either is or isn't.
Frankly, I'm very relaxed during that time because now my part is done. I mean, he gets very nervous during it. But I always say, what's the point of being nervous? We can't influence it anyway at this point. We're done. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. But I do hear all these these commentators, and I mean, they know what they're talking about, I suppose. But nonetheless, I mean, they're putting so much emphasis on these questions that are asked by this particular jury in that case in New York, trying to give that a lot of weight. And I tell you, you don't know what the jury's thinking. You don't know what those 12 people are actually thinking.
Nope. They say, well, they're from New York and they're from here and they're well, you know what? If they actually follow the guidelines, like supposedly what the judge has charged them with, you got to examine the evidence.
Right.
And now, most of the evidence that's been presented has been testimony.
Yeah.
And now they've got, they got a hooker, they've got a liar, and then they got the guy with the National Enquirer.
You got to weigh all this with all the other evidence, and you got to make a decision on this. And, also, I thought it was interesting too that the jurors also asked to have some of the jury instructions read back to them, which is not surprising.
Yeah.
That happens quite often.
Well, he had like an hour and a half with the jury.
Oh my gosh.
40
Well, I
minutes.
have a question for you, and
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if this is just a New York thing, so you can tell me, because the only jury I've ever been on was here in Oslo. It was a murder trial, but I don't remember us having to read anything back. Yesterday, they were saying that they're going to have to come back into the courtroom to have the they want to rehear the testimony and the instructions. Is that done? Is that how it's done? They come
Yes.
back into the okay.
Yeah, we'll have them come back into the courtroom too if something needs to be reread or read to them. The problem is, here in North Carolina, we don't have the transcripts being generated daily like they were in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the press had the transcripts by the end of the, by news time at night, they'd have the transcripts. We don't have that in North Carolina. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but we don't have that. And many times the jurors say, we would like to hear the testimony. Well, there's no way that they're going to be able to hear all the testimony, particularly if it went on for a day or more, because how many pages is that? Now, sometimes specifically that we can find a certain part they want and read that back to them. That's going to be done in the courtroom, though.
Okay.
Now, sometimes we will allow the jurors to take back physical evidence, depending on what it is. Now, no firearms or no drugs or anything like that or money. But sometimes it'll be usually like pictures.
We did pictures.
Diagrams.
Yeah, we did.
And that's pretty common, Kelly, where they'll do that. They want to see it. And I can understand why. Here's the thing, and prosecutors, defense attorneys need to remember, and judges. Look, I have been living this case for hundreds of hours and months on end. So I know the case. I know all about the case, the admissible and the inadmissible evidence. The jurors had to get up there and listen to a case they've never heard before, and it can go on for a week or more. Like this case in New York's going for a couple of weeks, several weeks. And all of a sudden, you got all these jury instructions thrown at you. You've never been educated in the law. You've never taken law class yet. All of a sudden, you got all this law thrown at you. And plus, now you've got to go back and remember all the testimony, remember all the evidence was admitted, and apply it to the law just given to you. That's a tough thing to do for a juror because you've had all this time, and these things go on for weeks. Look, I tried that one in Sampson, had 3 people. We tried that thing for 6 weeks. And that's 6 weeks of testimony those jurors are expected to remember.
That's what they've
That's
got
a
right
lot.
now, 6 weeks of testimony so far.
Yeah, that is a lot to do.
I know we got a caller, but you're going to have to wait because we got to take a long commercial break, and we'll be right back. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Well, hey, y'all. How was everyone's Memorial Day weekend? I'm sure y'all had lots of good food, but we have some more coming your way at a good price at the Richlands Piggly Wiggly. This week, we have a whole fresh pork picnic for $1.29 a pound. You can't beat that. We also have bone-in ribeye steaks for $9.99 a pound. Easy to cook and taste amazing. And if you spend your weekends on the boat island hopping, then you must have refreshing snacks. Stop by on your way out to the water and get some red ripe California cherries for just $3.99 a pound. And a pound of fresh ripe strawberries, or get 2 pounds of strawberries for just $5. The Richlands Piggly Wiggly has your back. You'll have everybody coming to your boat for the good snacks. Have a good week, y'all, and stay picky.
Mills International Incorporated, your local Cub Cadet dealer, is ready for spring. And you should be too, with the Cub Cadet Ultima Series. Come today and see how these zero-turn mowers have stepped up control from traditional lap to a familiar steering wheel experience. Four-wheel control provides precision, maneuverability, and stability on a variety of terrains, including hills up to 20 degrees. Adjustable automotive-inspired high-back seat lets you comfortably cut at your maximum speed, while a heavy-duty mowing deck powers your yard for a premium cut. Combine steering wheel control with premium features of the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, and you get a zero-turn mower ready to unlock the possibilities of your lawn. Head to your local Cub Cadet dealer, Mills International Incorporated, at 801 South Queen Street, Kinston, for exceptional offers, expert advice, and a superior service.
This just in, I think there's been a prison break, and reports are saying it's the Scorcher. Yes, the Scorcher has escaped and is running across Comfortville. Apparently, he's targeting innocent air conditioning units. Yes, and wait a second. It seems that reports are flooding in of unfortunate citizens feeling uncomfortable, hot, and in extreme cases, I hesitate to say this on the air, people are even sweating. Wait a minute, we're now getting word there seems to be some sort of disturbance. Oh, Bryant Man is on the scene, and he has apprehended the Scorcher. All right. Tune in again for another tale of Bryant Man, always doing whatever it takes.
Call Down East Heating and Air Conditioning at 346-4311 and let them keep you comfortable this summer. Down East Heating and Air, serving our community for over 25 years. Down East can also help you with your home guttering needs. Call Down East today, 346-4311.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246CJ, Jacksonville.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Jurors at former President Trump's criminal hush money trial in New York are back in court 9:30 Eastern time this morning. They've deliberated for 4.5 hours so far.
While deliberating, the jury submitted 2 notes to Judge Merchan. They asked for 5 things, including David Pecker and Michael Cohen's testimonies about a meeting they had with Donald Trump back in 2015. During that meeting, prosecutors alleged they discussed a conspiracy to get Trump elected by killing negative stories about him. Jurors also asked the judge to read the jury instructions back to them again.
Fox's Brooks Singman. 14 pro-democracy activists are convicted in Hong Kong.
They were charged with conspiracy to commit subversion over an unofficial primary election. The national security law was imposed by Beijing and has been accused of drastically cutting back on Hong Kong's freedoms.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. 31 others already pleaded guilty. All could face life in prison. America's listening to Fox News.
Freedom 97.1
WSME.
It's live and local. Real talk.
Okay, we're back live and local, and we do have a caller. First of all, good morning. Who's this?
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Mike.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Hi. I just had a comment and a couple questions for our illustrious DA.
Yes, sir.
One of the comments as far as the jury instructions in New York, they're not allowed to have a printout of the jury instructions. That's something that I don't understand or why they even start a thing to do like that. And it's 55 pages worth of jury instructions. As far as the questions for the DA, in your professional opinion, when a witness get out of control on his hand and he's butting against the judge's orders, rolling his eyes, talking under his breath, is it common to see the judge clear the courtroom to admonish the witness and let him know that, these things will not be tolerated?
I've never seen the entire courtroom cleared like it was up in New York, but I have seen, of course, the jurors being taken out because they're not supposed to be hearing those comments. And but I've never seen where like the press, the public has to go out. That's the first time I've seen that. Also, I'm going to go back to one comment you made about the jury instruction. That's an excellent thing that you just said. In North Carolina, the judges here do have the discretion to actually have the jury instructions printed out and given to the jurors so that way they can follow along and take those back in during deliberations. That's an excellent point. But no, sir, I've not seen that where the entire courtroom is cleared, but I have, of course, seen where the jurors are taken out and have a witness admonished.
All right. But it is a common thing as far as the judge clearing out, as far as
clearing the jury
off the bench, so he won't prejudice the witness and all that to admonish that witness.
Yes, sir. You can admonish the witness. You shouldn't do it in front of the jury. And but again, I've not seen the entire courtroom cleared out because usually the public and the press stays in there.
All right.
That's a great question. Great question.
Thanks, Mike.
Go ahead, sir.
And then the second question was pertaining to witnesses. You don't go to the witness store and have to buy a witness or anything like that, or pick up a witness. It's not your choice. It's pretty much the company the defendant keeps, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, the witnesses, who are they are, and it's usually someone that's related to or associated with the defendant. That's generally, unless it's like something, but generally factual witnesses are going to be people that know them and or have been with them, and that's typical in our cases.
And they're usually comprised of, or sometimes comprised of co-conspirators or people with maybe liars, maybe murderers, thieves, whatever. But those are the people that have the intimate knowledge of what's going on.
Absolutely, sir. And then, of course, you got to prepare that witness because they will be asked about their prior criminal record and their association with the defendant. So we'll talk to them about that. But yes, the jurors will be able to consider that, and then that goes to their credibility as well. That's a great question.
All right.
Okay. And a follow-up question for that one too, Ernie.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
And we got another caller, so hang in there for just a second. If you've got somebody on the stand that has, I know as a cop, and when they say you don't ever lie because it'll come back to haunt you.
Oh,
forever
absolutely.
and
Just
ever,
tell the truth.
Yeah, just tell the truth. But if you have been caught lying on the witness stand or in front of Congress or, to an FBI agent or to a police officer, that's also painful when you get on the witness stand, right?
Oh my gosh, that is such a detriment to the witness and also for the case.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we encourage our witnesses to tell the truth and don't say what you think we want to hear. Because first of all, you don't know what I want to hear. And secondly, though, we have a duty. I have an ethical responsibility to make sure witnesses tell the truth. If I have some issue about a witness not telling the truth or getting on the stand not telling the truth, I'm not going to put them on. They have an ethical responsibility not to do that. And that makes it tough. That we'll tell these witnesses, just tell the truth. And obviously, if sometimes they get up there, they do not, jurors are going to catch it. And they will hold that against whichever party put that on.
All right, got another caller here. Good morning. Who's this? Hello. Well, it keeps calling, but
I think it's a scam caller.
All right.
Was that 823?
I can fix that.
Okay, well, I have a question right now.
Yes, ma'am.
The North Carolina Senate just advanced a bill making changes to the raise the age law, where it stands right now, the law prevented automatically charging 16 and 17-year-olds as adults.
That's right.
How do you feel about that?
I can tell you that the Conference of DAs, and I'm president of the Conference of DAs until June 30th. I'll finish my second year, and I'll be finished as that. But when this legislation was being offered, there was some opposition initially from the Conference of DAs, including me. We were told, though, that it's going to happen. It was going to happen. But we were requesting, though, additional resources, though, because we said, look, we will not be vocal in our opposition if we get additional resources. Well, those additional resources were very minimal, frankly. We kept saying that what's going to happen is the number of juvenile cases is going to increase a lot, and it has.
Mhm.
Because you got 16 now and 17-year-olds that were in adult court, now in juvenile court. We did not get our resources increased. We also saw that there's been an issue that these are not just kids out there breaking or messing up mailboxes, which is pretty bad, or larcenies or shoplifting. These are juveniles out there, 16 and 17, are committing robberies, sexual assaults, and homicides.
Yes.
And so therefore, there's a move now supported by the Conference of DAs to basically change the law, to get it back closer to what it was. Not exactly the way it was, because still be 16 and 17 years will be still treated as juveniles, except in the more serious cases. I think it's A through E felonies is what I recall.
Yeah.
And that is what we are pushing right now before the legislature.
That would make sense.
And the legislature, I can tell you, they've been very receptive to this. Why? Because the legislators, even the ones that were in favor of doing this, they have also heard from their constituents, their district attorneys, their sheriffs about the issues that this caused. But to the credit of the legislature, they are in the right now. They're reconsidering it, and let's pull it back a little bit, at least on the class A through E felonies.
Gotcha.
So yes, I am supportive of that.
All right, let's see if we got the caller back again now. Good morning. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Jim, and I just want to say I'm tired of Sleepy Joe, and I can't wait for Trump to be back in office.
Okay.
It really just burns my chaps just seeing.
What do you think about the trial? You've been watching the trial? You've been paying any attention to the trial?
Well, the trial, I think it's a really kangaroo court, personally. I think that it's a witch hunt, and they're just coming after a respectable person who is really trying to do God's work and help our country become better.
Okay.
And I find it just cockamamie. And y'all know this. I don't even have to repeat it. Y'all understand this better than me, I bet.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for quite some time, but we do appreciate your call, sir. I just wonder, where did that word cockamamie come from?
I like it.
That's a brand new one. I'm going to put that on my list.
I like it.
You know, I appreciate that. That means a lot, ma'am.
All right.
And I just want to say I call in a lot. It's a great show.
Thank you.
And keep on doing God's work. I bless y'all.
Thank you.
Be safe.
We appreciate you.
Ernie, if you were on the jury, never happened. If you were on the jury, what issues would you like to have outlined perhaps on a chalkboard up there in front of you in the jury room? Can they do that kind of stuff?
Yeah, you can. Jury's going to ask for that. Usually there's a timeline. A timeline is usually key.
That's what I have said all along.
Because again, we don't always present our cases in absolute chronological order, because I'm going to tell you, many times in my murder cases, I'll put the crime scene on first. And not the witnesses.
Just to get the attention, yes.
Yeah, not the ones who maybe saw something or anything, but I'm going to put the crime scene on first. So I think many times, and of course, we'll put it all together in closing argument, but I think sometimes with the jury, it would be good to have a timeline back there. Because when did this happen? When did this person say this? When did this person see this? And again, when you had to sit there like Kelly has done in a weeks-long trial, it's hard to remember witness one when you're down to one. Even if you're taking notes, it's hard to remember. And so, yeah, I think a timeline would be good. And also, I think sometimes, and Kelly alluded to this during the commercial break, sometimes looking at photographs.
Yeah.
Sometimes just seeing a photograph, because that it may be something a juror wants to look at. We didn't even think that was that significant, but a juror does.
Okay.
And diagrams, I think, are important. Just things like that, I think, are really important to go back to the jury. Now, things are simply, as I said before, I'm not going to go back to the jury. Weapons aren't going to go back to the jury.
No.
Firearms are not. Guns and drugs, they're not going back to the jury room.
I agree with that.
Other things can, more illustrative type evidence like diagrams, photographs, things like that.
In one of our more notorious murder trials here, or the most notorious murder trial that I've been involved in at all ever, back in the 70s,
Marcus Schrader.
1974. Actually, the defense attorney actually walked over to the table where the evidence was and picked up a 45 caliber semi-automatic handgun and handed it to the witness who was the defendant.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my.
Wow.
I don't think they do that normally, do they?
That's when a judge has got to step in and say, stop. Mr.
Well,
Bailiff, get
there
that
were at
weapon back.
least 3 people who pulled their weapons.
Yeah.
Because we all know that all he had to do was slip a 1 cartridge into that chamber
Yeah.
if that weapon had not been disabled. I was told later that it had been disabled. Thank God.
Yes, absolutely.
wow.
Yeah, that's one thing. You're not going to put the weapon in the hands of the defendant. First, I'm not putting it in the hands of any of our lay witnesses. To
Thank
begin
you very
with.
much.
You know, your expert witnesses, yes, but not your lay witnesses. Not in the courtroom.
All right, I have a question from a listener who
Okay.
just happened to be a guest on our show yesterday. And this is going back to the trial in New York, but I imagine that it would be in alignment with other jury trials. Ask Ernie what risks the judge faces with unsequestered jury with all
Great
the
question.
alternates released in the weekend coming up.
Oh my gosh, that is an excellent question. That's one of those things I'm always concerned about too. Yeah, there's always the risk. I'm sure the judge has thought about this, but there's a lot of risk out there. What if one of the jurors sees something or someone talks to them and this becomes public, becomes to the knowledge of the judge?
Done.
Then all of a sudden, you run the risk of a mistrial. And that is what is very scary about that. And I've had jurors too juries have to go over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the judges will admonish them. They will repeatedly tell them. I'm sure Kelly heard this when she was on the jury. You cannot read anything about this trial. You cannot look at any type of media accounts. You cannot talk to any family, friends, or any other person about this trial. You are told that repeatedly. But what do people like to do? They find out you're on a jury trial. They won't just ask you about it.
Yes.
And that's what I'm sure the judge is concerned about this one. Everybody is up there on this one because there's been so much effort, time, resources placed in this trial. You don't want something to happen on the final weekend of it.
Well,
go
I
ahead.
have a question based on what you just said. One of the things the judge said yesterday to the jurors was, don't worry about the after effects of your decision. In other words, don't worry about what might happen to you. And I think he was thinking, I don't know what thing, I shouldn't say that, but what popped in my head was these crazy Trumpers and all these threatening the jurors when they find out who they, based on whatever decision they make. Would that not, do judges often say something like that to a jury? Like, don't worry about what might happen once you make your decision.
They are told not to consider anything outside what you have heard in this courtroom. Now, it's hard because we're
And
all
it's
human.
not whether he gets life, death, or he's free. That's not up to you.
Yeah, that is up to
because
the
he said
judge's
that to
side.
them, yeah.
But yet you are told not to let any outside things influence your decision. But of course, obviously, if you're threatened or something,
what
you
I'm
got to bring that
saying,
to
yeah.
the attention of the court. And again, that's you can't be doing that in any jury trial, no matter where you stand on a position. You cannot be threatening jurors or judges or lawyers or prosecutors or anybody.
Now,
That's the way our system works.
Now, those 3 alternates that have been released,
Why would they be released?
they've got no more responsibilities. And they're also fair game for the reporters out there, right?
Yeah. And I'm not sure how the law of New York is though, but it
Yeah.
could be the type of thing that once you've already started deliberations, you could not insert one of those alternates anyway.
What happens if one has a heart attack or
Yeah.
something, or dies? And
That is the risk you
gone.
run. Then all of a sudden you're down to 11 jurors. Then you don't have enough because it's got to be 12. Yep.
And so what do you do then? Call a mistrial?
Mistrial.
Good.
And
Oh, wow.
we're always concerned about that on these lengthy trials, on these very lengthy trials. What if something happens once deliberations begin?
Kelly brought up this morning, though, when I mentioned about the alternates, where they're going to leave, right? They're dismissed. Okay, so why can't, if something happens, they can just put them in the jury room? No, because they haven't heard any of the deliberation.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And they've also possibly been influenced by outside, information since they're no longer on the jury.
Kidding.
That's true.
Yeah.
Another caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey guys, this is Robin.
Hey, Robin.
Hey,
What's
Robin.
up?
Hey, Robin.
Hey, I just wanted to call and say hey to Mr. Lee there. I've known him for over 25 plus, I guess, 30 years now.
Oh, Robin was a great inside S agent. Wow, this guy, Robin, man, he was very aggressive and going after those committing the drug offenses in this
Like a little
state.
bulldog.
Oh my gosh, we did a lot of cases together. Robin was the man, and he never hesitated to go after these bad guys.
Well, we had a good team back then, and I think you're great. I think you're in an appropriate position where you're at. I hope you keep that job for as long as you want it. I know the voters will vote for you, and I just wanted to tell you hi and how much respect I have for you, Ernie. You know, like I said, I met you back in 1991, I believe it was.
Yes, sir.
We were working cases with PD, Sheriff's Office, and the SPI back then, and those are some good memories. And I just want to thank you for your friendship, for your leadership as a district attorney, and God bless you, Ernie.
Thank you, sir. And I can tell you, I'll just tell the listeners, Robin Knapp knows how to investigate a case. He also knows how to testify. He did a very great job.
Crosses his T's and dots his I's.
He did. He came into court prepared. And that's one thing I remember about him and respect about him. He came in ready to go.
He still has all his notebooks. I've never seen anybody, and I'm not saying that because I'm married to him, that takes such meticulous notes. He still has every one from when he ever started NCIS.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
And their timeline, you could never, and he still makes notes even now on his current job. I mean, he keeps detailed records. I mean, you could never accuse him because he could
delete stuff every
he
day a week.
had they're all in. He hand writes them. They're in
I've seen him do
binders.
that when
Yeah,
I've been in there.
he still does it to
Yeah,
this
he's
day.
got a book that.
Yep, he carries it. Yeah, he takes good notes.
Hey, Robin, do you know where you were on October 21st,
He could tell you.
1976?
High school.
Yep.
I guarantee you he could.
That was at Zone American High School
In Japan.
let's see. Yeah, I was a sophomore in college or high school at that time.
Mhm.
Yep.
Do you
Absolutely.
do you remember a guy by the name of Joseph? And I won't give you his last name at that time.
No.
Joseph?
Yep. It was in your class.
Let me refer to my notes.
No. No, Robin, don't start. This.
Robin, you should know better.
Don't
That's
listen
what
to
we
him.
do best, isn't it? Confuse the enemy.
Yeah. He'd have to.
Yeah, but I trust you, and I didn't think you'd pull that trick on me.
Very good. Robin, thank you for your call, sir.
All right, Robin, go to work.
Bye, Robin.
Go to work. Ernie, we do appreciate you coming in this morning. Not only our local cases, but adding a little insight to this other stuff. Again, it's not North Carolina.
Right.
We don't know. I don't have a clue how they do things up there. And I'm pretty glad that I don't want to go up there to find out. So,
Well, I appreciate y'all having me here today. I've got Veterans Treatment Court this afternoon. I'm participating in that. So
Good.
I'll be in that, which is turning out to be a good thing. And then tonight I'm going to Raleigh. I've got to preside over executive committee meeting tomorrow as president of the Conference of DAs. I got 2 more left as president this month in
You gonna
June.
run again?
Well, you're allowed only 2 terms, or
Oh, I
two
see.
1-year terms. So I'll be finishing up June 30th, but it'll be turned over to some good hands. The DA from Yancey County, North Carolina. He'll be the next
I know what that
president.
is. Lee brought up something before you came in this morning. Any plans to ever are we first of all, are we still behind from cases from COVID? Is my first
We
question.
sure are.
Okay,
Yes,
that's what I
ma'am.
thought. And Lee brought up night court. Any talks about ever doing a night
No,
court?
that was Rafer.
Yeah.
I brought up Zoom. I brought up Zoom.
There has been talk about that. I don't know. There's pros and cons to it. One thing would take a lot more resources.
Mhm.
It would take a lot more resource, which means expenditures, budgets,
Yeah.
have to increase. So that would be problematic. I'd need more assistant DAs,
of course.
and we need more clerks. And then you got to decide what type of cases you do at nighttime. It'd be maybe a little more difficult with jury trials
Yeah.
because people have
Yeah.
to work and
Right.
stuff.
But like maybe like
Maybe
simple stuff.
civil
Yeah.
stuff, or maybe guilty pleas even.
Yeah.
Some stuff we come to jail.
Tell him about that one from Michigan real quick.
Oh, this is
best
epic.
one goes. They have a virtual court possibility for small, minor offenses, right?
Right.
So this dude calls into the virtual court. Court's in session.
It's on Zoom.
His attorney on Zoom. His attorney is there. The judge is there. The courtroom is full, and the guy's in there for his charge is driving with a suspended license.
Yeah.
Okay, so he tells on camera, Judge, can you hold a minute? I got to pull over here.
Oh my gosh.
The judge is like, he's driving?
He's driving? Wow.
Are you driving? No, I'm just pulling over into the parking lot right now so I can
Oh.
continue talking.
That is pretty funny.
Sir,
Slam dunk.
report to the jail. You're going to be incarcerated without benefit of bond.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Your bond's revoked.
That's when the guy spoke without thinking first.
What
Oh
else?
my.
Yeah.
I mean, that was got to go down.
It's priceless.
I've never
Can't
seen
make
that.
that up.
Ernie, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much
thank
for
you
having
so
me. I
much.
appreciate y'all. And I
Thank
I
appreciate
have a
the
dozen more questions, but we'll save them for another.
I'll
time.
come back in the
Oh,
future,
yeah.
and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate your radio show. I think it's great to educate the public.
Yes,
That's what we hope to do.
And I think you do too. And
I
I appreciate your comments and all the stuff you've covered. Thank you so
We've
much.
got loads of comments
Okay,
this
bye.
morning.
All right, you're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME.
Hey, it's Cool Bobby B. Jacksonville, Onslow County, and beyond. You have found the official station for the Doo-Wop Stop. Heard Saturday nights, 7 till 10, right here on Freedom 97.1 WSME and worldwide at WSME971.com. Join me as we play the absolute best and greatest doo-wop songs of all time. Saturday night, 7 till 10. Get connected now at doowopstop.com.
Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry, where we love to make you smile. Now proud to be working with Doctors Kim and Tommy Morgan, formerly Morgan Family Dentistry. The Jacksonville and Richlands Morgan offices of Lane & Associates Family Dentistry blends the latest technology with personal care and attention, so you have an amazing dental experience. The offices of Lane & Associates welcome all ages and accepts all major insurances, including military. Lane & Associates Family Dentistry has been serving the state of North Carolina for over 40 years, with 2 locations in Jacksonville, Richlands, and Maysville. Call for an appointment today at 877-LANE-DDS or online at lanedds.com. Welcome to Lane & Associates Family Dentistry.
If you are looking to purchase a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV without the high pressure, Onslow County Motor Company, 1639 Lejeune Boulevard, may be the dealership for you. At Onslow County Motor Company, they want to help you buy a car, truck, or SUV, not just sell you one. Buying a car, truck, or SUV should be enjoyable, and the folks at Onslow County Motor Company will do their best in making your car buying experience fun and relaxed. Check out their inventory online at ocmc.us or visit them at 1639 Lejeune Boulevard. All vehicles are hand-selected, and a standard warranty comes with most vehicles, with extended warranties available, and Carfax is free. Stop by and visit Ben, Brandon, Travis, or Terry. They will gladly answer all your questions about a particular model. Financing? Well, Zeke will finance most anybody. Great selection, great people. Onslow County Motor Company, 1639 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, where customers send their friends.
Call today, 910-355-7066.
If you plan to rebuild, remodel, repair, or do cottage or home improvements, Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City, should be your first stop. Williams Hardware carries power tools and equipment, chains and fasteners, plumbing and electrical supplies, along with Gerber, Buck, and Case knives. Williams Hardware is your helpful, handy hardware store. Williams Hardware cuts glass to size and cuts and threads pipe. When the chores are done and the cleanup is finished, light up that Wilmington grill from Williams Hardware. Williams Hardware, 3011B Bridges Street, Morris City. Open Monday through Saturday from 7:30 till 6 p.m. and Sundays for your convenience, noon till 5. Phone Williams Hardware, 252-726-7158. Hello, shoppers. Take advantage of the following specials and many, many more at your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store, where good things cost less. Down the street, Main Street in Maysville, on your way to and from the beach. Bone-in ribeye steak is only $9.99 a pound. Whole top sirloin, $5.99 a pound. Whole fresh pig neck, just $1.29 a pound. How about whole bottom round? Just $3.79 a pound. Boneless fry breast is only $2.59 a pound. And remember, the beef and pork is cut fresh every day by the butchers at your Maysville Piggly Wiggly, and they use only the finest in Sanderson's Farm chicken and certified Angus beef. Over in the garden, red ripe California cherries, just $3.99 a pound. 2 1-pound packages of red ripe strawberries, just $5. North Carolina grown blueberries, only $2.99 a pint. Jumbo green bell peppers, 99 cents each. Super select cucumbers, just 59 cents each. And you get a 1-pound bag of Brussels sprouts for just $2.99. And you get 3 6-packs of the 16-ounce size Pepsi or Mountain Dew for just $11. That's your locally owned and operated Piggly Wiggly store, where good things cost less. Down the street, Main Street in Maysville, on your way to and from the beach. Remember, say big with the pig.
It's live and local real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
All right, the Marine Weather Outlook, important to boaters and fishermen everywhere, is brought to you by Community Prevention Services of Jacksonville. Anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicide. If you're having episodes more and more often, maybe there's a problem, and this is probably a very good time for you to reach out for some help. Holidays, the stress of planning for a vacation. You know, your kids are out of school coming up shortly. You got to figure out things to do for them, to do with them. You may be a working family and may not be able to get babysitters. Then you got to worry about what they're doing. All of this is stressful. It can cause all sorts of depression.
Yes.
Along with the worries, there's the nagging issue of money. Inflated prices for food, expensive gasoline. You got a summer vacation you'd like to take, maybe on the back burner this year. Perfect opportunities for depression to take hold. You're lucky around here. Community Prevention Services in Jacksonville has a staff of counselors. They can help with many of the issues facing us today. There's no reason to continue suffering. Help is a phone call away, 910-353-0972. Conveniently located too at 918 Henderson Drive. Totally confidential. Whatever you tell them, they keep it amongst themselves. And they accept most insurance plans. Offshore today, a good few days this week on the ocean await us. Northerly winds around 10 knots today, becoming easterly this afternoon. Seas only 2 feet. 2-foot waves from the southeast, 9 seconds apart. That's wonderful. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3. Sounds and rivers a light chop. And on Saturday, northeasterly winds kicked up just a little bit, about 10 knots, and seas 2 to 3 feet. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, sunny, high of 82. Tonight, clear, low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 80. Tomorrow night, clear, low of 53. On Saturday, sunny, high of 82. Saturday night, clear, low of 57. And on Sunday, sunny, high of 85. It's a great forecast.
Yes.
I'm all about it.
Yes.
And it's not going to be
I
very
understand.
humid. Yeah, so that's good.
I found something in this 1913 law book that I found, Constitution, North Carolina Constitution, and I had marked it, but now I can't find out where it is. It deals with the rights of the press, the media. Of course, the media was all nothing but the press in those
you
days.
were reading that, and I was
And
like, huh?
it gives right. It says, a free press is a mainstay in this country, in this state. It's a mainstay, but along with that comes responsibilities from the media to get your mess right. That's as true today as it was then. Sometimes people take it for granted, but sometimes among the media and whatever.
Yeah, that I've got to sit down and go through that book. It's history right there.
It is history, and one of my relatives had the book. He was a magistrate here in Onslow County. His grandson is a guy that a lot of you know.
Yes.
Tommy Pollard.
Yes.
Former state senator, entrepreneur in the area. Known him for all my life, I guess. But anyway, he's just about my age, a little bit older. But anyway, that's the way it is. Let's see. We got a caller. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's Mike again.
Hey, Mike again. How are you?
All right. I just want to get y'all's opinion, or if you know about the Judge Alito situation that's going on now.
About the
Judge Alito, that was where his wife had raised the flag, but she put it upside down because she felt like, well, that came not long after. I think, wasn't it a neighbor that was harassing her? And she got upset, and when she put the flag up, she put it up upside down.
They had that was the story, but days after it stood up upside down.
Hey, Mike, are you married?
Yeah.
Are you responsible for what your wife does?
If I was a Supreme Court justice.
No, are you responsible?
Upside down,
Can you be held accountable? Can you be held accountable for your wife flying? I don't know. Let's suppose she wants to fly a KKK flag. Do you think you would be held accountable for that?
No,
I don't know what your job is
her.
now.
He'd be divorcing her.
As the man in the house, it wouldn't happen.
So you just crossed over right there.
Yeah.
She's got
the man that leaves the house, it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, well, you're the a lot of women lead the household. You got to understand that too. But it matters not. They're equal. Everybody's equal in that household, right? Man and wife.
Then when I look into it, it took them a while to even say anything about it. So that had me thinking, like, all right, what was the consternation about that?
Well, again, there's no way I can go out there and tell my wife what not to do or what to do.
Mhm. Then the appeal to heaven flag that's on the other property, you start to see a pattern.
Are you there?
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Okay. So what does that apply to him in this case?
Well, apply to him that he's a sitting Supreme Court justice and he's aware of the U.S. flag code and what that means to have an upside down flag. During the time that these flags were flown was the aftermath of the elections.
Uh-huh.
Also, the appeal to heaven flag is adopted by the MAGA right. And a lot of instances when they're protesting and such, and pretty much it can be interpreted that they're showing support for that.
Yeah. Okay.
I will be very honest. I've not really read the story enough to give it an opinion one way or the other. I mean, I got into it a little bit, but so many other things have developed since then, and I've not kept up with the story.
Yeah. It's a lot like the Klan adopting the Confederate battle flag or whatever they adopted at one point in time. That doesn't mean the Confederacy was made up of the Klan. In fact, Klan didn't even come into being until after the Confederacy.
Very good point.
So you can adopt whatever you want. You can adopt there are people who have adopted all sorts of things out there that were actually very good. How about the people who are flying the U.S. flag and raising Cain?
Mm-hmm. But I think the context has a lot to do with it in the time period in which all this was done.
Well, whether that should be done or not, that's up to individual interpretations. But as far as whether he should be held accountable for what his wife does, my wife certainly is not going to be held accountable for what I do. She'll tell you that very quickly.
She was like,
it also looks like using the wife as the scapegoat, like, just
now you're making assumptions.
Well, I would assume
that's what the appearance look like.
Well, I would assume if he came home and found the flag upside down, he probably would have corrected it. But like I say, I've not followed the story
I haven't either.
enough to see what else has come out since then. But
It didn't carry enough weight for me to even pay attention to be
I
honest
can
with
tell you, a couple of weeks ago, I put up a brand new flag,
Mhm.
and something in my head was telling me it wasn't right. And I walked away from the flagpole, walked in the house, and I said, no. I looked outside. I had hung it upside down.
You were surrendering?
No, I had to go right back out and fix it. But, I know things like that can happen.
Yeah.
But what she did was, I think she was angry at a neighbor. I'd have to go back and reread the story and catch up on it. But
And as long as he was not involved, I don't really care.
well, I would assume that he probably had some heavy conversation with his wife over it.
Probably.
So he was probably eating McDonald's for a while. So I no.
The spare bedroom, right?
A spare bedroom in McDonald's. Right.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Now, he brought up a good case, and I know we really discussed it, but there's been so much else going on in the news. I've kind of been, reflecting over towards that area with the Trump trial and everything else that's happening in Congress. And so you want to talk about some crazy North Carolina laws?
Yeah. What you got on?
Do you know it's illegal to borrow a neighbor's dog in North Carolina?
Borrow his dog?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
It's illegal to borrow. It's on the books. It's one of those crazy laws that's on the books right now.
Wow.
Taking horses, mules, or dogs for temporary purposes is illegal in the state of North Carolina.
You mean I can't borrow a dog to be a watchdog?
Can't borrow a mule to plow your garden. Can't borrow a horse to ride to the Circle K.
Really?
Without the owner's permission.
How
right?
old is that law? And hasn't been repealed yet?
Oh, please.
There are a lot of laws that get repealed.
We need to. It's illegal to hold an organizational meeting while wearing a mask.
Okay.
Yeah, we pretty much knew that already because we're working on the mask bill
Yeah,
right now.
that goes back to the Klan days.
Right,
and
right,
that's what
exactly.
about?
Here's one, just a little personal. No, I don't mean for me. Let me start over. It's illegal to have sex in a hotel room if you're not married.
Yeah, I know that. That's been the case.
Yes, and it's also illegal to lie about.
How about in the hallway?
Let's not get. It's illegal to sniff glue in Huntersville, North Carolina.
It's illegal to sniff glue in a lot of places. It was a state law.
It's still on the books as that. It's against the law to not pay taxes on any illegal drugs that you sell.
That's right.
We
There
all,
have been a few people that go to jail for that, and there have been a lot more that should have.
It's illegal to serve alcohol at bingo games. Can't drink beer at the bingo game.
B47. Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning, Deniables. How you doing?
Deniable. Now we're deniable.
We moved up or down. We were deplorable, so we're now.
Deplorable Denials. How you doing?
We're hanging in here, Mr. Adorable. How are you?
You better hurry up because it's almost Miller time.
Listen, why didn't you man go get on the stand and testify? If everything was a lie and he didn't do Stormy and he didn't do the payoffs, why didn't he get on the stand and testify?
Because
So we
he's
can
not
all hear
required.
it?
Because he's not required to. A witness.
Oh, he's not required to, huh?
No.
Why not?
Well, what other witness? What other accused individual do you see get on a witness stand?
Well, he was talking about a few. There was a soundbite that when Martha Stewart got in trouble, he came out and said, "Oh, she should take the stand because if you take the
you can
stand,
say what you want to say.
guilty. You're guilty."
Yeah, you can say what you want to say, but that's just no, that's not the way it works.
Yeah. Joe Logano forgot to tell you, after he told you that Coleman is a liar, he forgot to tell you that the mafiosos had some of the gangsters and the mob guys testify on their those mafioso trials. If you remember, Sam the Bull testified against Teflon Don. So they take their testimony. So you can call Cohen whatever you want, but that's the way it is.
Okay. All right. We got to run.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, keep running.
Yeah, we're running.
Keep the rich hunt going. Maybe it'll take a couple of weeks. I like it to take longer so you can get excited about it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you,
take
Theo.
care.
All right. You take care.
Should be Miller time now.
I don't know. The phones are getting confused. Good morning. Who's this? Yeah, they're getting very confused. Let's see if I can clear them. We'll take a commercial break, and we're waiting for Chris Miller, so he'll be chiming in here right after the break. You're live and local Real Talk. We'll be right back.
Freedom 97.1 WSME. For 40 years now, people throughout Jacksonville and Onslow County have trusted Barnes Diamond Gallery for all their jewelry needs for every special occasion. They understand that every day is a special event for someone, whether celebrating a wedding, anniversary, birthday, engagement, or graduation. Let Barnes Diamond Gallery custom design something for you. Barnes Diamond Gallery does on-site repair in addition to their quality and selection of diamonds, diamond fashion bands, pendants, watches, earrings, gemstone rings, and necklaces for anyone for any occasion. Major credit cards accepted. Layaway available. Barnes Diamond Gallery offers appraisals and paid top market prices for gold and silver. Barnes Diamond Gallery, 461 Western Boulevard, Suite 120, Jacksonville, open 9:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday.
Looking for a job? Full-time? Part-time? Il Cigno Italiano Restaurant wants you. We're currently hiring for hostesses, servers, bartenders, and dishwashers. Il Cigno Italiano is a family-owned, fast-paced restaurant that offers the best in fine dining on the Crystal Coast. If you're hardworking, reliable, professional, and have a desire to always strive for better, we want to talk to you. Make great money and be a part of an outstanding, dedicated team. Il Cigno Italiano on West Corbin Avenue in Swansboro.
When you need comforting, who do you call? An old friend, right? Jacksonville Heating Contractors services the heating and cooling needs of our area with dependable train systems, guaranteeing indoor comfort for your home or business. In addition to quality train systems, Jacksonville Heating Contractors offers 24-hour emergency service, NATE certified technicians, and over 50 years of experience and service you can trust. And with a Jacksonville Heating Contractor service agreement, You never pay retail for heating or cooling services and receive priority scheduling. Remember, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And in New Bern, you can call Trent Heating and Air Conditioning 252-633-2200. In Morehead City, Sea Air Heating and Cooling 252-247-1122. If you need service or repairs, just call an old friend. Jacksonville Heating Contractors, an independent Trane dealer. It's hard to stop a Trane. For deals on Trane systems and more, visit anoldfriend.com or call 910-347-2843.
Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro can save you money on your automobile insurance with new options that are available now. Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro goes the extra mile to make sure you are in good hands, like helping you customize your auto, home, and windstorm coverage with their Write Your Own Home policy. Yes, save even more when you bundle your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, and even your golf cart. Remember, if it rolls or floats, call Tammy for a quote. You and everything you own are in good hands with Tammy Fry Allstate Swansboro. Save more money on your automobile insurance today with Tammy Fry Allstate. Phone 910-326-5383 today. Tammy Fry Allstate, 638 West Corbett Avenue in the friendly city by the sea, Swansboro. Mohawk All Pet Protection and Warranty is the only cover protection and warranty for all pets, all accidents, all the time. Because your pets are family members too. No matter how you live, we've got you covered. Soft, luxurious, smart strand forever clean carpet. Gorgeous, durable, Solitech luxury vinyl tile. Mohawk has the ultimate floor for every room in your home that's suitable for all pets. For details, contact Watkins Floor Covering online at watkinsnewfloor.com. Watkins Floor Covering, thanking you for voting them the best of the best for 2023 in the flooring covering and carpet cleaning category. Watkins Floor Covering, they're more than just floors. It's custom showers, custom tubs, carpet cleaning, backsplashes, bathrooms, commercial, retail, and home flooring too. Watkins Floor Covering, family owned and operated since 1997, with locations in Jacksonville and Surf City. Watkins Floor Covering, you stand on it, we stand behind it.
If you're looking for a home, or perhaps you want to sell your house, why would you not pick a realtor that knows Eastern North Carolina? Candy Brown Thompson has lived her entire life in this area and knows the territory like the back of her hand. She's a realtor with Century 21 Champion in Jacksonville and is known as a professional that will do everything possible to find the right home to meet your needs. It matters not whether you're looking for a small starter home or you're ready for a larger home. Candy will stick her neck out and check out homes throughout the eastern part of the state. She's known to look high and low and show you as many houses as you want until you have found the perfect house you can turn into a home. Throughout the process, she'll treat you with grace, kindness, and integrity, and you'll love her sense of humor. For a realtor dedicated to her clients, give Candy Brown Thompson of Century 21 Champion a call at 910-787-5600. That's 910-787-5600.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME.
All right. We have an absence here in the studio, and Kelly has taken her leave of absence, and right now, you know what time it is.
Yes,
what time is it?
Miller time.
It is. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Hey, good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
Another great show as always.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Yeah, so we have some exciting news, sports news here going on in Jacksonville the next few days.
I hear 'em.
First off, did want to mention the Jacksonville High School girls soccer team. They play Saturday at 2:30 in the state championship game, the state 3A championship game against South Point High School, which is from Gaston County.
Yay.
So the game will be played in Mecklenburg County. So it's a little bit of a trip, but when you get to the state final, sometimes you have to make these long trips. So it's the players are pretty excited. Cardinals community is pretty excited. So
Way to go!
It's gonna be a good game on Saturday.
Go girls! Yes,
That's right. Go girls!
Those are our girls. Yeah.
Girl power.
Yeah.
So they've only the second time the Jacksonville girls have been to the state final. They went back. They went to the first time in 2016 and fell a little short that first game, but they're confident and they're ready. They got some momentum, and we wish them the best of luck. I will be there on Saturday afternoon. For the coverage of the team, and it's always a big deal whenever we have a local high school sports team
make it to the state championship game. So it's always a big deal. So we're excited, but unfortunately, I'm going to be out of commission, not to be able to do the All-Star.
Oh, we'll miss you.
Aw.
I know.
Do you have a cardboard cutout of yourself anywhere?
We could do that.
No,
We could take a-
unfortunately, but I was really hoping the state would would let Jacksonville play on Friday night, and then I could go to the All-3 game on Saturday. But it just didn't work out. They have their reasons for scheduling games on Fridays and the different times on Saturday. So, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. But the All-3 guys, the Patino family and coach, and they'll understand, and we'll be able to. We've been giving them good coverage leading up to that first home game on Saturday, and we'll be covering them throughout the summertime. So it's sad not being able to go to that first game, but we'll be touching bases with the Jacksonville Ospreys throughout the summertime.
But that Cardinal girls, they have earned this. So
All you guys carry a baseball mitts to ball games, don't you? Did you ever carry one to a ball game?
I never. I think I did once when we used to have the Kinston Indians. I think I brought one back when I was younger. But never really did. It was more so. I didn't really care about getting a foul ball or anything. It was more so just being there and enjoying the atmosphere and smelling the ballpark, experiencing, and being able to hear the crack of the bat. So it's just being at the ball game is fun in itself.
Well, I'm going to be there, and if you hear a crack of the bat, you're going to hear a double crack, because once it gets out to me, I'm carrying my Louisville Slugger with me. I'm going to hit it right back.
Oh, God.
What do you think?
No, but it's
on
been
my
fun.
head.
Kind of help. It's been fun, really helping to promote this team. Earlier this week, I spoke with the young man from Michigan that had not only had the first base hit in team history, but had the first home run in team history.
Yay!
When they played their season opener at Kinston this past weekend. And then the other day spoke with a young man who graduated from Jacksonville High School 2 years ago.
That's a good story.
Who's now playing for the All. It's a little bit of a homecoming for that young man, Matthew Lovett, and he's excited to be able to play in front of his friends and family and his high school community. So it's there's just so many great storylines that the team's going to be able to provide us throughout the summer.
Yeah, well, good. I'm glad you're covering them, and because it makes it very human.
Right. And tonight the Ospreys are away. They have an away game. They're playing the River City Skippers.
The winner?
The River. Where is? At Knobs Creek Park.
Elizabeth City.
Oh, Elizabeth City.
Yep, Elizabeth City, and then tomorrow the Ospreys will travel to the New Bern Southpaws, which is another first year team.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll travel to New Bern, and then on Saturday, games at 7:00. I think the gates open around 4:30. If I'm not mistaken, there's gonna be music and entertainment and food. So
a band, E Squared.
They're gonna be playing the Brunswick Surf and Turf on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, that'll be good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That'll be good.
Sounds like it's gonna be a fun time for all.
Yeah. So, but we'll catch all three here in the next, after we get done from, Jacksonville girls soccer, and we wish those young ladies and the Cardinals the best of luck, and it'll be a fun weekend.
Yeah,
we'll be watching for
tell
the
them
story.
to kick it hard. That's all I can tell you. Hard and fast.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right, Chris.
You
Take
be
care, sir.
careful, safe in your travels.
Thank you.
Let's take a break. You're live and local. Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back.
Freedom 97.1.
Mills International Incorporated, your local Cub Cadet dealer, is ready for spring. And you should be too, with the Cub Cadet Ultima Series. Come today and see how these zero-turn mowers have stepped up control with traditional lap to a familiar steering wheel experience. Four-wheel control provides precision, maneuverability, and stability on a variety of terrains, including hills up to 20 degrees. Adjustable automotive high back seat lets you comfortably cut at your maximum speed, while a heavy-duty mowing deck powers your yard for a premium cut. Combine steering wheel control with premium features of the Cub Cadet Ultima Series, and you get a zero-turn mower ready to unlock the possibilities of your lawn. Head to your local Cub Cadet dealer, Mills International Incorporated, at 801 South Queen Street, Kinston, for exceptional offers, expert advice, and a superior service.
The best deal for the grill is at Jones LP Gas and Oil Company each Friday. Every Friday from 8 a.m. till closing at 5, Jones LP Gas and Oil Company will fill your 20-pound LP gas grill cylinder for only $11. You heard that right. Each Friday till closing, you can have your 20-pound LP gas cylinder filled for only $11 at Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 Wilmington Highway in heart of Verona. In addition to saving money on your LP gas for the grill, Jones Gas and Oil is your full-service gas and oil company serving residential, commercial, and agricultural gas and oil needs, as well as gas appliances, LP replacement, parts, fill cylinder, and tankless water heaters, and they offer a 10% military discount on installation. Remember to get that cylinder filled every Friday until closing for only $11. Jones Gas and Oil Company, 3881 the Old Wilmington Highway, Verona. Phone 910-346-6384.
Have you gotten your copy of Topsail Times newspaper this week? If not, did you know that Topsail Times is Topsail area's only local newspaper in print? Started a little over a year ago, we now have over 1,500 online subscribers and 5,000 printed copies that go out every 2 weeks. And we never charge our readers. Information should be free to our readers, and we stick by that. Looking for an idea for date night? Want to learn some local history? How about asking a veterinarian about your pet? These things and more are available in each copy of the Topsail Times newspaper. Want to get the word out about your business? We offer great rates for full color ads, and the online paper version is always included for free. Need help designing the perfect ad? We can do that too. We're always looking for human interest stories, so start writing. And we love local photos too. Check out our website at topsailtimes.net, where you can find out where to pick up a copy or check out our latest publication online.
Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning, your trusted local Carrier indoor weather team. Serving all of your heating and air conditioning needs since 1967, now offers residential and commercial duct and dryer vent cleaning, and now offers expert residential and commercial plumbing service. In case of a power outage due to a storm or for any reason, be prepared with a Generac generator for your home or business. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning has Generac generators in stock ready to install today. Remember, better breathing comes with cleaner air. Let Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning improve the air quality in your home or business with professional air duct cleaning. As always, Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning is available 24/7 for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing emergency needs. Turn to the Carrier experts. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning with locations in Jacksonville and Hempstead. Visit online, humphreyheating.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Humphrey Heating and Air Conditioning since 1967. Relax, we're on the way.
If your plans include hitting the road this year to do some traveling, make sure a visit to Silent Service Center is on your to-do list. Travel safety starts with the tires on your vehicle, and a visit to Silent Service Center will give you peace of mind with the best value in all name brand tires and the largest selection of used tires in this area. In addition to quality tires, Silent Service Center is a North Carolina inspection station and does complete brake service, oil changes, and alignment service. Silent Service Center, 1707 Lejeune Boulevard, Jacksonville, and 108 West Main Street, Havelock. Phone 910-353-4760.
It's live and local. Real talk on Freedom 97.1 WSME.
Okay, today we're back here, and I mentioned earlier about if I was a juror, what would I want in the jury room and the deliberation room?
Donuts.
While I'm in there, donuts? Nah.
Food.
I'd want some steak and lobster.
Food
no,
for sure.
So for just a minute or so, I would want to have a chalkboard, of course, and I would want to lay out the charges. And that chalkboard may be a bunch of different whiteboards all around the room.
Right.
I want to lay out the charges 1 through 34. Many of them that are the same, you label 1, 7, and 9 and put them on the same board. And then under each one of the charges, I would want to list the evidence, which pretty much consisted of testimony from the prosecution witnesses, the 3 of them primarily. Put that on the board along with each charge. Okay? Everything that they said relevant to that charge. Relevant to that charge. Not sure you would get a whole lot of stuff put on that board.
You need a big whiteboard, yes.
Relevant
Definitely.
information. Let's talk about those. Most of the evidence is going to come from witnesses, right? We know that.
Right.
That's about all they had. So let's discuss the witnesses. Now, we're all human. Those members of the jury are human. I don't really care what charges that the judge gave them, what he told them not to consider, or anything else. They've already heard it. They've already heard about the witnesses. Do we as jurors believe that these people are telling the truth now? I know we're supposed to take their word for it unless it's proven otherwise. Let's discuss those witnesses, what they've told FBI agents in the past, what they've told congressional inquiries, court proceedings, and then let's decide whether they are credible. I don't know if they were lying then and they have all these histories of lying and lying and lying. Are they credible now? Why am I, as a human, I'm here, I'm not a computer. You feed all the facts into a computer based upon the evidence that was presented in court, you're going to get a verdict of one thing or another. It'll be clear cut, right? But we don't have computers as jurors. We have people. We have people with minds that we have to decipher what we hear and what we see. As a juror, I would look at the length at the comments and the rulings that the judge has made, at the defense objections that the judge in this case overruled, and also his general demeanor. I would come to my own conclusions as to whether he was being fair or not. As a juror, I would want to have it explained to me what evidence actually presented support the charges against Trump. Show me. Explain it to me. I know what y'all said, but how does that relate to this case? In one particular instance, you'll recall early on in the trial, the judge made a comment. I'm not sure how this is evidence and how it relates to these charges. He's the one who said that, not me.
Well, you know, I've been following the trial, but I get my information from media because that's the only way.
That's the only thing that's available.
That's the only thing that's available. Now, I will say that Fox News is my go-to station, but I also know that if President Trump walked out and shot somebody in the head, Fox News would find a way to defend it.
I know they would.
So, you know, you have to stop and take all that into consideration. The only way that I mean, I can sit here and assume and make assumptions and give you opinions on how I think this trial is going to end, but without actually being in the courtroom or watching it televised and being able to see what the actual evidence was, it's hard to have an opinion without just being prejudiced over your opinion. You know what I'm saying?
I totally understand what you're saying. And I don't know how I would be once I'm in that room, because I've never had to get into a room to deliberate. I got kicked off all the juries. I've been kicked out of better places, I will tell you. But there's one thing that's going on there, too. There are two legal minds, lawyers, on that jury. You realize that?
Right.
I would turn to them for when I had a question. I would turn to one of those two or both of them, and maybe they would disagree. Have them explain to me why this is important, why this charge and this witness, what this witness has said, why we should consider it, and to what degree should we value it. That's what I would do.
Well, I watch a lot of court TV. And I've been talking about this one case that I've been watching. It's been 5 weeks, and it's probably going to be another 5 weeks. But I'm trying to approach it as if I was a juror in the jury box. And beyond reasonable doubt, I'd say person's innocent right now because I have a lot of doubt. But I'm still looking forward and waiting for a lot of the technical evidence to come in. Do I think there's going to be some? It's not going to be good.
I don't think so. I think we're having issues here.
Yes. There's a lot of issues with the case. It was poorly investigated, and then it goes into a lot of other roadways and stuff. But, you know, and sitting back and trying to look at Trump's case as a juror, like you say, we have very limited information. We are only getting what a news person is sitting there tweeting out at the time it's happening.
All right, coming up tomorrow, we got a distinguished young man. We're going to be chatting with him.
My favorite.
We know that insurance rates or proposed insurance rates for you folks who live in mobile homes,
83%.
83% increase.
That's what the rate bureaus
That's
want.
what they want.
Right.
They ain't going to get it. And we've got insurance commissioner, state insurance commissioner Mike Causey tomorrow. So
Yes.
we'll be asking him some questions. He's calling in, right?
Yes, he's
okay,
calling
so
in.
if you guys have got questions for him, you've got issues, you need to email it to us or send it to us on Facebook Messenger. One of us, and it won't be me, will take all of that
If
down.
I miss it, Kelly will catch us. So between
y'all-
the two of us,
and
we'll
we'll
get
ask the
it.
questions tomorrow, since we can't take two calls at one time. It gets really confusing when
He's
you do
going
that.
to also talk about your insurance. You need to check your insurance policies to make sure that you're prepared for the
storms.
The storms.
Potential storms. And
That's
then I've
right.
got some questions to ask him about that. So, just hang in there.
And also, there are scammers out going house to house. I haven't heard any in this area yet, but in neighborhoods around the state, pretending to be from the North Carolina Department of Insurance and selling people insurance plans. They don't do that.
Oh, really?
They don't
Please
do
come
that.
to my house. Just come and knock on my door. Have a seat in here for a little while.
You'll have the cuffs close by too, won't you?
No, I'll just sit there. They won't. You can sit there. You're not going to get up. Don't even try me. Don't get up. But
Yeah.
let me call somebody right now. Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
I put him on microphone.
Right. And then too,
I
there's a
bet
lot
he
of
can
stories coming out.
He could arrest him over the phone.
A lot of stories coming out recently too of people being investigated, arrested, and convicted of insurance fraud. So
As they should be.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's have about 22-hour pause for a calls, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Right and early.
absolutely, we'll be here.
Fantastic Friday, TGIF. Okay, guys, let's just send some notes. What do you think the verdict's going to be? Do you think they can reach a
dear.
verdict? How long will it be before that verdict is delivered?
I know right now that Trump feels like he's going to be convicted. He's really, really worried.
Anybody in that position should be worried.
I've got 2-3 different opinions. I'm tossed and torn right now. I really am.
You're live in local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. See you tomorrow morning. Fox News is next at 10 o'clock. It's going to be another dose of the Daily D's with Rick Dees. And at 3 o'clock, I almost said 2 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, he's going to give it over to Chris, the man, our man, the man, Chris Hollywood Man.
WSME, Camp Lejeune, W246.